Hey there, fellow coin hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through your couch cushions, looking for loose change to buy a soda, and boom, you find a penny. You almost ignore it, but wait, what if that tiny copper coin is worth a fortune? What if it's one of the rare 1988 D Lincoln pennies that's selling for an eye-popping $1.1 million? Yep, you heard that right. A 1988 D penny. Not some ancient, mystical treasure. Not a gold-plated, diamond-studded artifact. Just a regular old Lincoln cent, or is it? Today, we're diving deep into why this particular penny is turning heads, what makes it so valuable, and most importantly, how you can find one. So grab your piggy bank, empty your pockets, and let's get started. Alright, let's get one thing straight: most 1988 D pennies are worth exactly what you'd expect, a penny. But a small handful of them? They're sitting in a whole different league. Back in the 80s, the US Mint was transitioning between different engraving styles for Lincoln's portrait. A mix-up happened, and some 1988 pennies were struck using an experimental obverse, front, die paired with an outdated reverse, back, die from 1989. This little mix-up created what collectors call a 1988 D wide AM error. Normally, the letters AM in America on the back of the penny are close together in 1988 cents. But on this rare variety, the A and M are spaced farther apart, just like they were in 1989. That tiny difference? It's what makes this coin worth a life-changing amount of money. And now, I've got to tell you about the time I almost had one of these in my collection. A few years ago, I was going through my change jar, that one that just collects dust in the corner of the kitchen. I had a ton of pennies and decided, hey, let's see if there's anything special in here. I found a 1988 D penny. My heart started racing. I ran to my desk, pulled up pictures of the rare wide AM variety, and grabbed my magnifying glass like I was some kind of detective on a high-stakes case. But, folks, my excitement lasted about 5 seconds. I checked, double-checked, even squinted at that tiny AM. And nope, it was just a regular old 1988 D penny. Worth exactly 1 cent. Let's just say I went through a roller coaster of emotions in record time. But hey, the search continues. Alright, so how do you know if you have one of these $1 million pennies? Here's what to look for: it has to be a 1988 D, Denver Mint. If you see a P or no mint mark at all, it's from Philadelphia, not what we're looking for. If the A and M in America are touching or very close together, sorry, no jackpot for you. Cha-ching, get a magnifying glass or microscope, these details can be tiny. A good magnifying tool will help you confirm the spacing. Verify the FG initials, the designer's initials FG, Frank Gasparo, on the back should look slightly different than the regular version. Now, let's talk numbers. If you find one of these bad boys and it's in top-notch condition, you're looking at up to $1.1 million at auction. Even if yours isn't in perfect shape, it could still sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. One collector unknowingly had one in their drawer for years before selling it for 6 figures. So yeah, checking your pennies might just be the smartest financial decision you make this year. Heritage Auctions and Stacksbowers regularly handle rare coins. Yep, some of these rare pennies have been listed and sold on eBay. A reputable dealer can help you assess and sell your coin. You might find a collector willing to pay top dollar. The incredible story of the 1988 D Lincoln penny that could be hiding right in your pocket. Who knew that a simple copper coin could be worth more than a house? Are you checking your pennies yet? Because if you're not, you might just be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Before you go, hit that subscribe button for more tips on valuable coins, hidden treasures, and strategies to make the most of your change jar. Also, drop a comment below: what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Let's swap stories. Hey, coin hunters! Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, just another penny? Well, what if I told you that one of those little copper coins could be worth a life-changing $1.2 million? Yep, you heard that right. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's worth a fortune, what to look for, and how you might just be sitting on a jackpot without even knowing it. Before we get into it, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I found a random penny in my couch. I was about to toss it in a jar, but something told me to take a closer look. Now, it wasn't a rare one, but that moment sparked my obsession with coin collecting. And here we are today, talking about a penny that could literally pay off your mortgage. Let's get into it. Okay, let's break this down. The 1976 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was struck in Philadelphia. Now, most of these pennies are just worth their face value, but every once in a while, a rare one pops up due to a unique minting error or a special variety point. One of the biggest reasons why some 1976 pennies are worth a fortune? Errors and high-grade condition. If your penny has a rare minting mistake, like a double die, off-center strike, or an unusual composition, you could be looking at a serious payday. And if your coin is in pristine condition, graded MS67 or higher, collectors will pay big bucks for it. Imagine finding a penny in your car's cup holder, taking it to an expert, and realizing it's worth over $1 million. I'd probably scream, drop it, and lose it under the fridge. But let's move on. This means it was made in Philadelphia. Most 1976 pennies from Philly aren't worth much, but some are. Look for doubling in the letters, an off-center strike, or even a wrong metal composition. If your penny looks brand new, like it was never touched, you might want to get it professionally graded. A collector once paid $1.2 million for a near-perfect 1976 no-mint mark penny with a rare error. Imagine turning a single cent into a seven-figure payday. Don't clean it. I know, it's tempting to make it shiny, but collectors want original condition. Take clear pictures and compare it to known rare varieties. Get it graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. This tells collectors the official condition of your coin. Sell it at an auction, online marketplace, or through a coin dealer. There are collectors out there with vaults full of pennies. I like to imagine them swimming in coins like Scrooge McDuck. But hey, if you had $1 million penny, you'd probably build a vault too. I have to share this insane story. A guy in Ohio found a 1976 penny in a jar of random coins he'd been collecting for years. He was about to spend it, but something told him to double-check. After sending it in for grading, he found out it was a rare error penny, one of the only known examples, and it sold for over $1 million at an auction. Alright, let's wrap this up. The moral of the story? Check your change. That 1976 penny in your pocket could be worth more than your car, your house, or even your retirement fund. So next time you get a handful of pennies back at the store, don't roll your eyes. Take a closer look. You never know, you could be holding $1 million surprise. And hey, if you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more tips on coins worth serious money. I've got plenty more hidden treasures to reveal, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. Now, go check your pennies. Who knows? You might be the next lucky collector to cash in big. Alright, picture this. You're digging through your old coin jar, maybe even that stash of pennies collecting dust in the cup holder of your car. You pull out a random one, glance at it, and toss it aside because, hey, it's just a penny, right? Wrong. What if I told you that one tiny little 1960 Lincoln penny, yes, the one with that small d under the date, could be worth $1.3 million? Yeah, you heard that right. $1 million penny. Imagine buying a cup of coffee with it and then realizing you just gave away a small fortune. So, how does an ordinary-looking penny become insanely valuable? Well, sit tight because we're about to break it all down. From what makes the 1960 penny so special to how you can spot one in your own pocket change, we're diving into everything you need to know. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at pennies the same way again. And now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a penny. How can it possibly be worth over $1 million? Well, my friend, the answer lies in a tiny little mistake at the US Mint. Back in 1960, the Denver Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies like there was no tomorrow. But something went wrong with the dies they were using. Some of the coins were struck with what's called a small date over large date error. Basically, they used two different date styles, and some pennies ended up with one date stamped right over the other. It's subtle, but collectors go absolutely nuts over stuff like this. Most people don't even realize they have one. That means there could be one sitting in a coin jar somewhere, just waiting to be discovered. Okay, so let me tell you about the time I almost made the dumbest financial decision of my life. A while back, I was going through some old coins, not really expecting to find anything special. I had a bunch of pennies, some nickels, a rogue Chuck E. Cheese token, classic random change jar contents, but then I spotted a 1960 penny. And I'll be honest, I nearly chucked it in the spend pile. It wasn't until I took a second look that I noticed something weird about the date. Long story short, I did some digging, and sure enough, I had a rare small date over large date variety. Was it the $1 million one? Unfortunately, no. But it was still worth a few $100. How many people have done the same thing? How many $1 million pennies have been casually spent at gas stations or tossed into tip jars? Alright, now for the good stuff. How do you know if you've got one of these rare pennies? Here's what to look for: it should have a D under the year. No D? That's a Philadelphia mint coin, and while those can be valuable too, we're focusing on Denver today. The rare variety has the small date stamped over a large date. It's a bit tricky to see with the naked eye, so grab a magnifying glass or use your phone's zoom function. Pennies come in different shades. A bright red penny in mint condition is way more valuable than a dull brown one. Now, let's talk numbers. The absolute best condition 1960D small date over large date penny ever found sold for a whopping $1.3 million at auction. But even if yours isn't quite that perfect, it could still be worth thousands, sometimes even tens of thousands, depending on the grade. If you think you've got one, don't just throw it on eBay and hope for the best. Get it authenticated and graded by a professional coin service like PCGS or NGC. A tiny grade difference can mean the difference between a few $100 and a life-changing amount of money. Seriously, I know it's tempting, but collectors prefer them in their natural, unaltered state. Don't assume it's fake. A lot of people find rare coins and don't believe they're real. Always double-check before dismissing it. If you've got a valuable one, take your time, research auction houses, and get multiple opinions on its worth. Conclusion and call to action are the incredible $1 million story of the 1960D Lincoln penny. Who would have thought that something so small could be worth so much? If this doesn't make you want to dig through your loose change, I don't know what will. And hey, if you love learning about rare coins and how to spot valuable ones, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got tons of tips coming your way, from hidden treasures in your pocket change to strategies for collecting valuable coins. Hit that like button, drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin, or almost spent one like me, and share this with your friends. You never know, they might have $1 million penny sitting in their piggy bank. Alright, picture this: you're digging through your couch cushions, hoping to find some spare change for a soda. You fish out a few pennies, a couple of dimes, maybe even a crumpled up dollar bill. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, just an ordinary looking 1977 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? Yeah, you heard me right. That tiny copper coin you almost tossed aside might be more valuable than a brand new sports car, a luxury vacation, or even your mortgage. So today, we're diving deep into the mystery of this $1 million penny. What makes it so special? How can you tell if you've got one? And most importantly, how do you cash in if you're one of the lucky ones? Stick around because this is one coin story you don't want to miss. Now, if you're like most people, you probably think all pennies are basically the same. They've got Lincoln's face on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, at least until they changed it in 2009, and they're worth, well, a penny. But oh no, my friend, this is where things get interesting. The 1977 penny we're talking about is missing something crucial: a mint mark. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia around this time didn't have a mint mark, so at first glance, this one doesn't seem unusual. But here's where the magic happens: some of these no mint mark pennies were struck using a rare, high-quality die that resulted in an ultra-sharp design and an unusual composition. Experts believe a few experimental coins slipped out of the mint, making them incredibly rare, and when something is rare in the coin collecting world, you better believe collectors go absolutely bananas for it. Okay, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping my grandpa clean out his old desk. He had jars and jars of pennies, like the kind of collection that makes you question how long someone has been hoarding spare change. So there I was, mindlessly sorting through these pennies when I came across a shiny 1977 penny with no mint mark. I remember thinking, this looks kind of cool, but then I just tossed it back into the jar without a second thought. A few weeks later, I stumbled across an article about the ultra-rare 1977 penny worth over $1 million. My heart stopped. I ran back to my grandpa's house, dug through that same jar, and of course, the penny was gone. Always check your change. You never know when you're holding onto a small fortune. Now that I've got your attention, let's talk about how you can tell if your 1977 penny is the one that could change your life. Here's what you need to look for. This is key. If it has a D or an S, sorry, But you're out of luck. The rare versions of this penny were struck with an ultra-high quality die, meaning the details on Lincoln's face and hair are extra crisp. The rare ones were made of a slightly different metal composition, so if you have a precise scale, weigh your penny. It should be exactly 3.11 grams. Coins in near perfect condition, also known as mint state or MS, fetch the highest prices. If yours looks like it's been run over by a truck, the value drops, but hey, even a worn-out one could still be worth a good chunk of change. It's all about supply and demand, baby. There are only a handful of these ultra-rare 1977 pennies known to exist, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar to own one. In a recent auction, one of these bad boys sold for over $1 million. The price keeps climbing because, well, people love rare coins. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to turn a 1-cent coin into $1 million? Alright, so let's say you hit the jackpot and you've got a rare 1977 penny in your hand. What now? Here's how to cash in. Don't just throw it up on eBay and hope for the best. You'll need a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify it's legit. High-end coin auctions and specialty coin dealers are the way to go. Trust me, you don't want to accidentally sell it for 50 cents at a yard sale. Remember, just because a coin is valued at $1.4 million doesn't mean that's what you'll get. Be patient and work with a reputable dealer to get the best price. The incredible, mind-blowing story of the 1977 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that could be hiding in your pocket right now. If you've got some spare change lying around, take a second look. Who knows? You might be holding a tiny treasure worth a life-changing amount of money. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin hunting tips, crazy coin stories, and valuable finds coming your way. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're about to go digging through your piggy bank right now. I'd love to hear your stories. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. Have you ever looked at the change in your pocket and thought, nah, just a bunch of pennies, nothing special? Well, you might want to check again. Because today, we're talking about a 1998 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that is worth a jaw-dropping $1.50 million. One single penny could turn you into a millionaire. I know what you're thinking, a 1998 penny? That's not even old. And that's exactly why this story is so crazy, what to look for so you don't accidentally spend a fortune on a pack of gum, and of course, how you can potentially cash in on this rare find. So grab your piggy bank, dump out that jar of change, and let's get into it. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, just browsing through old books, random knickknacks, and, of course, a jar of coins sitting on a dusty table. The guy running the sale joked, "Take the whole jar for $5, who knows, maybe there's a rare coin in there." I laughed, but I bought it anyway. Later that night, I poured out the coins and started checking for anything unusual. And guess what? I didn't find a rare penny worth millions, but I did find a wheat penny from 1943, which was still worth a decent amount. You never know what you might have. And that brings us to today's star, the 1998 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Alright, so why is a 1998 penny, which is barely over 2 decades old, fetching such a massive price? There are a few reasons. Most pennies made in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, so that alone isn't super rare. But here's the kicker, some 1998 pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, the blank metal disc used to make coins. A few of these slipped past quality control, and now they're considered major collector's items. This is where things get even crazier. Some 1998 pennies have a spacing issue between the A and the M in America on the back. Normally, they're close together, but on these error coins, there's a noticeable gap. Coin collectors go absolutely wild for this kind of thing. If you happen to have a 1998 no-mint mark penny with the white AM error in mint condition, you might just be holding onto a small fortune. The highest graded versions have sold for up to $1.5 million at auction. Now, let's get practical. Here's what you need to do to see if you have one of these rare pennies. Look at the word America. If the A and M are touching, it's a regular penny. If there's a noticeable gap, you might be in luck. The less damage, the more valuable it is. If yours looks like it just rolled out of the mint, it's worth getting checked by a professional. Step 3. Consider getting it graded. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can tell you if you have a jackpot coin, where to sell it. You don't just take it to your local grocery store and hope the cashier gives you $1 million in change, right? Here's where to sell it. To sites like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and Stacksbowers regularly list rare coins. Find a reputable dealer who can give you an appraisal. These are great places to meet collectors willing to pay top dollar. Alright, folks, let's wrap this up. We started with an ordinary penny and ended up with $1 million payday. Just goes to show you never know what's hiding in your pocket change, especially the 1998 no mint mark ones. Look for the wide AM error. If you find one in great condition, get it graded and sell smart. Never assume a penny is just a penny, because that little copper coin might just be your golden ticket. Now, before you go, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button for more tips on valuable coins, hidden treasures, and strategies to turn pocket change into real money. And if you've ever found a rare coin, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Hey there, coin lovers and curious minds. What if I told you that a simple penny, yes, one that might be sitting in your pocket right now, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million? Sounds crazy, right? Well, today, we're diving into the surprising value of the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny and why collectors are shelling out life-changing money for it. Now, before you go flipping over every penny you've ever owned, let me warn you, finding one of these isn't as easy as digging through your couch cushions, but it's not impossible either. In this video, I'll break down exactly why this penny is so valuable, what to look for, and how you might just strike it rich. And stick around till the end, because I'll also share a funny story about the time I almost threw away a rare coin. Yeah, big mistake. First, let's talk about what no mint mark even means. Normally, US pennies have a small letter under the date, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and if there's nothing there, it usually means it was made in Philadelphia. However, the 1984 penny is an oddball. Some of these pennies from Philadelphia were mistakenly struck without a mint mark, making them extremely rare, but here's where it gets even more interesting. Some of these pennies also have an error known as the double ear Lincoln error, which, yes, means that Honest Abe looks like he's got an extra ear. If you find a no mint mark penny with this error in top condition, congratulations, you're sitting on a $1.6 million jackpot. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would someone pay $1 million for a penny? Well, coin collectors, or numismatists, if you want to sound fancy at parties, love coins with it because mistakes are worth money. Wish my boss felt the same way. The 1984 no mint mark penny is a unique piece of US minting history. The cleaner and shinier it is, the more it's worth. The thing about rare coins is that their value skyrockets when collectors compete at auctions. In 2023, one of these bad boys sold for $1.6 million, and who knows, the next one could go for even more. You never know where one might be hiding. Look for that no mint mark in the double. Grab a magnifying glass and inspect closely. If you think you found one, get it authenticated. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can verify if it's the real deal. If you ever find one, don't spend it on a candy bar. Trust me, that'd be the most expensive mistake of your life. Alright, story time. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic, and we found an old tin full of pennies. Being the coin geek that I am, I started looking through them. Guess what I found? I was freaking out. My mind was already spending the money, maybe a new car, maybe a trip to Hawaii. But guess what? I was so excited, I accidentally dropped the coin, and it rolled right into a floor vent. Yeah. I spent 2 hours trying to fish it out with a wire hanger and some duct tape. Finally got it back, took it to a coin shop, and, turns out, it was just a regular 1984 penny. No errors. Worth exactly 1 cent. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny with the double ear error is worth a fortune. If you've got one, you might just be sitting on $1.6 million without even realizing it. Seriously, grab that old coin jar, check the change in your car, and take a second look at every 1984 penny you find. You never know, you might just be holding a small fortune. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more tips on rare coins that could make you rich. I post new videos all the time about valuable coins, collecting strategies, and crazy auction stories, so don't miss out. Also, let me know in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Have you ever made a big coin-related mistake like I did? I'd love to hear your stories. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, not worth my time? Well, what if I told you that one little penny from 1964 could be worth a life-changing $1.7 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A single, ordinary-looking coin that might be sitting in your jar of loose change could be your ticket to early retirement. Yes, really. And today, I'm going to break down exactly why the 1964 D Lincoln penny is worth a fortune, what to look for, and how you might have one hiding in your collection. So, before you rush off to check your piggy bank, stick around because I'm about to share some valuable secrets that could make you some serious cash. The story behind the 1964 D Lincoln penny. Back in 1964, life was a little different. Gas was 30 cents a gallon, the Beatles were taking over America, and kids were actually playing outside instead of staring at screens all day. Crazy, right? But while all that was happening, something interesting was going on at the Denver Mint. The US Mint was pumping out millions of pennies, but among them were a few rare gems, 1964 D Lincoln pennies with special errors and high-grade conditions that now make them worth a fortune. Now, I actually have a funny story about this. A couple of years ago, I was helping my grandpa clean out his garage. You know, one of those all-day events where you find weird stuff like old baseball cards, broken radios, and at least 3 hammers because, for some reason, every dad and grandpa hoards hammers. Well, in one of those dusty old coffee cans filled with loose change, we found a bunch of pennies. And my grandpa, being the kind of guy who saves everything, told me, "You never know, kid, some of these might be worth something." At the time, I laughed it off. But later, when I started learning about coin values, I realized he might have been right. I went back and checked, and while I didn't find the jackpot, I did find a few wheat pennies worth a decent chunk of change. But ever since then, I've been obsessed with finding that one rare penny that could change everything. So, what's the deal? Why is this particular penny worth $1.7 million? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and errors. Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated, meaning they look as good as the day they are, way more valuable than those that have been passed around for decades. A perfect 1964 D penny in a high grade can be worth thousands, but one in near perfect condition is where the big bucks come in. Some 1964 D pennies were struck with double dies, off-center strikes, or other weird minting mistakes. These errors make them super valuable because collectors go crazy for unique misprints. Even though millions of these pennies were made, very few have survived in top-notch condition. That's what makes them rare and valuable. Think of it like baseball cards. Sure, tons were printed, but how many rookie cards of legends are still in mint condition? Not many. Okay, so now you're probably itching to dig through your coin jar, right? Here's what you need to look for the D mint mark just below the year 1964. That means it was made in Denver. If it's shiny, has sharp details, and doesn't have a lot of scratches or wear, you might have something special. Look for errors like double die obverse, DDO, where the text or Lincoln's features appear slightly doubled. If it looks promising, take it to a professional grader or a coin dealer to get it appraised. Where can you sell a valuable penny? So, let's say you hit the jackpot and find one of these rare pennies. What now? Here are some options. Big collectors are always watching major coin auctions for rare finds. Websites like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and PCGS are great places to list valuable coins. Sometimes, selling in person to a collector or dealer can get you a better deal, but whatever you do, don't just sell it to the first person who offers you a few bucks. Get it graded and verified first. You don't want to be the guy who accidentally gives away $1 million coin for pocket change. 1. Never underestimate the value of a penny. 2. If you have a grandpa who saves everything, check his coin stash immediately. And 3. You never know when a little piece of history could turn into life-changing money. And now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a rare or valuable coin? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you like this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new tip on how to turn pocket change into a fortune. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Have you ever looked at the pennies in your pocket and thought, just a penny, nothing special? Well, hold on to your hats because today, we're talking about a 2017 D Lincoln penny that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. That's right, one single penny worth more than a mansion, a sports car, or a lifetime supply of coffee, which, let's be honest, is the real dream. How can a 2017 penny be worth that much? It's basically brand new. Well, my friends, that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to uncover what makes this coin so valuable, how to spot one, and most importantly, how you might have one hiding in your loose change right now. And hey, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we talk about rare coins, valuable finds, and all things money related. Who doesn't love the idea of turning a penny into a fortune? The story behind the 2017 D Lincoln penny. Alright, so why is the 2017 D Lincoln penny so special? I mean, we all know the standard Lincoln penny, it's been around since 1909. But in 2017, something weird happened at the Denver Mint. A small batch of pennies came out with a super rare error that skyrocketed their value. Let's call him Mike, was sorting through some pocket change while waiting for his coffee. Now, Mike isn't a coin collector, he's just a guy who wanted to get rid of some coins weighing down his wallet. But then, he noticed something weird on one of the pennies. The design looked slightly off. Instead of tossing it into the tip jar, he thought, let's Google this real quick. That little penny he almost gave away was one of the rare 2017 D-era pennies. He got it graded and later sold it at an auction for over $1 million. Imagine going in for a $5 coffee and walking out with a fortune. The secret behind its $1.8 million value. Here's the deal. The 2017 D Lincoln penny with the rare error has a double die obverse, which means the design on the front of the coin was struck twice, creating a slightly blurry or doubled effect, especially noticeable on Lincoln's eye, nose, and the date. Misalignment at the mint, and only a handful of these pennies made it into circulation. Some of these error pennies also have an off-center strike or a die break, two other rare mistakes that make them even more valuable. And now, here's the crazy part. The highest graded example of this penny sold for $1.8 million because it was in perfect condition. The shinier and less worn the coin, the more money it's worth. So if you find one, don't just toss it into a vending machine, treat it like the tiny golden ticket that it is. Look for a 2017 penny with a small d under the date. That means it was minted in Denver. Use a magnifying glass and check Lincoln's face, especially his eye and nose. If they look slightly blurry or doubled, bingo. If the design looks slightly shifted, that's another sign of value. These appear as small raised lines or marks on the coin. If you find one, don't clean it. Cleaning a rare coin can actually lower its value. Instead, put it in a safe place and get it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. This is where most rare coins sell for top dollar. If you know how to list it properly, you might get some solid offers. Some dealers will make an offer on the spot. The longer you hold onto a rare coin, the more its value could increase. A 2017 D Lincoln penny that could be worth $1.8 million. Who knew a tiny little copper coin could be worth more than a Ferrari? Now, before you run off to dig through your couch cushions, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we've got plenty more videos coming on rare coins, money-making tips, and crazy finds. And hey, if you do find one of these pennies, drop a comment below. Who knows? You might just be the next lucky person.